Tonight, we continue our focus on the communities that make West Michigan great, with the spotlight on the town of Marshall in Calhoun County.
Of course, that's where Fox 17's Kevin Craig is standing by with lots of people behind you tonight, Kevin.
Yeah, this is really historic place here. There's some fabulous stuff to show you inside, which we'll do in just a second. Guess what, guys? I found another piano. This one dates back well into the 1800s. It's got some pearl inlaid keys. We'll show you this in the piece in just a second. There's some fabulous artwork and architecture here. And since the Marshall Historical Society, which, by the way, if you folks don't know, Marshall is about 10-15 minutes to the south and east of Battle Creek, not far from the intersection of I-69 and I-94. When the Historical Society took possession of this in 1962. There's been about $1.5 million spent all those years, throughout the years, on restoration. And one of the gentlemen who is an architectural restorer, Randy Case, has been involved in some of the restoration of this. Tell me what one of the most challenging thing was to do in restoring this, Randy.
Well, one of the things was the front porch, the base of the columns had rotted out, and so we had to jack them up in the air and support them temporarily while we put stainless steel pins in and so forth to repair that. And one of the big challenges with a building like this is following the cracks around. And you find that they show up all different times of the year, and finding out what causes them is a real challenge.
Gotcha. Randy, thank you very much. We want to show you what we saw when we came in here. Take a look at the piece and we'll share it with you. The last place anyone would ever expect to find a piece of Hawaii would be in Marshall. Built in the 1800s, the Honolulu house greets visitors at the door with a fabulous grand spiral staircase. But how did it end up here?
Judge Abner Pratt served as the United States Consul to the Hawaiian Islands between 1857 and 1860, came back to Marshall and built his own little Polynesian paradise.
The house is one of 11 museums in Marshall. It has tropical designs and amazing Victorian artwork. Each room has 15-foot ceilings and 10-foot doors and windows, common to Hawaiian architecture.
This whole floor is hand-painted by itinerant painter Mr. F.A. Grace. You'll notice how very, very three-dimensional his artwork is, and in each room you'll see pictures of screws and rivets and metalwork.
That concept was indicative of the Industrial Revolution. While there are several rooms throughout the house, each is lavishly decorated with donated items. One original couch remains, but we found everything from paintings, lamps, a formal dining area, a piano complete with pearl inlaid keys, to a library or morning room where families would make plans for the day. As fate would have it, change would eventually ensue.
In the 1880s, the third owner of the home, Martin Wagner, made some extensive changes, including replacing the fireplaces. These are actually slate painted to look like marble. He hired an itinerant painter to do these wonderful ceiling decorations, and then he added electricity to the home, and this unique light fixture combines both electricity and natural gas for lighting.
Our tour also took us deep into the basement with original wood plank floors and an old cast iron stove.
One of the most unique things made in Marshall in the late 1880s is the folding toiletry stand made specifically for Pullman trains.
Also portable, a handcrafted wood dresser that actually doubles as a galvanized tin bathtub inside. The last piece of Michigan history we discovered involves Sidney Ketchum. He came from Detroit and started Marshall in 1831, which almost became our capital instead of Lansing.
The legislators in Detroit had given themselves 10 years to find a state capital. The first vote they took, we lost the vote. They debated for a full 10 years, and by 1847, the capital was given to Lansing instead of Marshall.
All right, we're back here live at the Honolulu house in Marshall, south and east of Battle Creek by just about 10-15 minutes. Here's one of those fireplaces we just showed you in the piece. Look at some of the turnout we got. As Ben, my cameraman, kind of pans over, we got some young kids here. What do you guys think of the Honolulu house?
It's very beautiful.
And what's your name?
Josie Croce.
Josie, thank you. What do you think of it?
I like all the artwork.
And what's your name?
Gabby.
Gabby, thank you. The artwork is absolutely fabulous in this place, as we just showed you. Got a gentleman here dressed for the times. Back in the 1800s and 1860, this house was built.
Right.
What's your name?
Philip Atherton.
Bill, how does it feel to be dressed in this era and kind of relive it briefly?
That's really a lot of fun. I really enjoy it, and I do this, and I also work on a tall ship.
Gotcha.
So I really enjoy that very much.
And this is how it was in the 1800s. The tall hat, the thick wool keeps you warm?
get very warm. Actually, in the summertime, it's very hot, but now it's perfect.
Absolutely. Hey, and we are in the formal parlor of the Honolulu House, one of the places where people would come in and they'd meet and greet and they would entertain in this room. You can see all the people that have showed up from Marshall. A big thank you to them. How about a shout out? Say hello to Fox 17 viewers, guys. Hey, next hour at the 6 o'clock newscast, we're going to do a profile on a gentleman who's a retired school teacher in the district for 40 years. He does something very special with the kids. He's been doing it for the last 24 years. It involves Marshall Middle School and Alaska. We're going to tell you all about that coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. That's it, live in Marshall at the Honolulu House. This is Kevin Craig for Fox 17 News. I think we're going back to Rick to get a little bit of weather. Thanks for keeping the snow away, Rick. It helped us out here.
You got it. Spent a lot of time in Marshall as a kid. It's a terrific city. Can't wait to hear your report in the next hour.